Yes, sir. They just grow up so fast, don't they? Not fast enough. Gregory will now be talking a year from now. Look back on my this. Declan, you man. I imagine that it'll get to the point where they will want me to shut up. So, anyway, look at you. You're so handsome.
Guess who's back? Back again. We are back. Tell a friend. Woo! Hello, wonderful people. I am the wise and eloquent Declan Rhodes, and that is the strong and friendly
Gregory Rhodes.
Yes. Now, before we jump into our episode of Roads Less Traveled today, I'd like to first thank the one man behind the name of our podcast and who I completely forgot to thank in the first episode, but that would be Robert Frost for the inspiration from his poem called The Road Not Taken. Now, I will say a disclaimer that I was big dumb and thought that his poem for some reason was called The Road Less Traveled, but that is okay. So sorry to all my English teachers out there, but now we know. I'd also like to say, last episode we had talked about the Michael Brown incident and riots happening in 2016, but I was researching that a little bit recently, and that was actually in 2014, and I think we might have been confusing that with the Philando Castile riots and incident. So yeah, there's a little correction for you. Sorry about that. We're not a dictionary. We don't know everything, but we try. So before we jump in today, my kind of pre-question for you, kind of getting into your childhood, what were some games that you played during recess in grade school?
Well, kickball was a favorite. Run across was probably the best one. Mm-hmm. Everybody liked. You'd have two teams or two groups, one on end zone A, let's say, and one on end zone B, and then you had one person in the middle. And then when everybody was ready and paying attention, the person in the middle would say, "Run across," and then so end zone A had to get over to end zone B. End zone B had to get over to end zone A without getting tagged. If you got tagged or touched, you were now in the middle with that single person at the very beginning, and you're helping catch or tag or touch people as you yell run across. So it was just a run game, and it was just fun, absolutely fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, kickball, run across, basketball on the playground.
Yeah. Interesting. It almost kind of reminds me or sounds a little similar to like Red Rover.
Yeah.
A little bit. When I was a kid, games I was playing was Foursquare, and kickball was another good one. And Little Sally Walker. But I mean, we're not surprised by that. Okay, so getting into our kind of first topic today, talking about your life and where it started, how it started. You were born on, remind the people where, when?
On October 16, 1970 in St. Louis.
St. Louis, yes. Now, quick little side note. Some people don't know this. Is it weird to you to think that the woman you would later marry and have as a soulmate was born a day before you?
No.
Do you remember learning about that? Like when she told you that you guys had very similar birthdays?
Yeah, I just, it was like, I don't want to say surreal, but it was just like, yeah, whatever. But it was for real.
Yeah.
So it was just like, and just more and more little nuances like that. We were like, whoa, this is, I guess, meant to be.
Yeah. That's so cool. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so we're in 1970, kind of, the age of bell-bottom jeans and disco and I think lots of cocaine. I'm not sure. That might have, no, I think coke was a 70s drug. Do you remember listening to disco music growing up? I mean,
no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Not whatsoever.
What I guess what kind of music what was your family?
Well, that's accurate to say my family, because I wouldn't say we didn't have a choice, but it really wasn't the kids.
Yeah.
My sisters was always playing music, especially Rita, the middle sister. It was blues. Mostly blues and a little R&B, believe it or not. But yeah, it was 8-track tapes, blues, and
Wow. Yeah. So some people don't know this. We have something in common. So we were both born premature.
Yep.
I was born 10 and a half weeks early. I was supposed to be born in June, came out in March, was too excited. Similarly, you were supposed to be born in what month?
January,
and you came out in October. So being born premature, I don't necessarily like remember obviously having lots of problems other than I guess just being on the smaller size of the kids around me,
right?
Being shorter. Did you kind of experience that growing up?
Well, unfortunately, I had a lot, not a lot, but I had some complications that you didn't have.
Yeah.
With your prematurity, and obviously that's the greatness of modern medicine.
Yeah.
You're talking about, years later. So, but I had problems with vision. I had problems with my walking. I had to wear the correctable braces and correctable shoes is what I remember them being called. Like Forrest Gump did in the movie. I wore those shoes.
Grow, Gregory, grow! That's funny.
Yeah.
So about how long did you have those braces and shoes on?
Up until probably a little past kindergarten, maybe.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was. So about kindergarten, definitely first grade. I remember not having them on in first grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something else we've talked about before. So you had the braces on. A little side thing. Do you remember like getting them off, or do you remember like when they were like you don't have to wear them anymore?
No, I don't.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
That's okay. But do you? Something else we've talked about. So you were born premature. What was something your family would do to help keep you warm because you weren't in the hospital?
Well, when I was born, according to my oldest sister, Carolyn, and I remember my mother saying something in passing that when she came home with me, I was so small and they didn't know whether I was going to make it or not. And they put me, my mom put me in a shoebox and put me in the oven. Now, I don't know if they turned the oven on low and left the door open or they closed the oven. I do not know, but my oldest sister very vividly remembers those times. And she said that was the way they kept me warm and kept me alive, so to speak. But it happened. I don't recall it.
Yeah.
But my mom, for whatever reason, bad or good, she would always, or she had made comments about you were so small, the doctors didn't think you were going to make it, and we put you in the oven. So
yeah.
It wasn't like it was a good thing. Yeah.
I guess for the sake of happy thoughts, we will just assume that they, fingers crossed, left the door open. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I cannot imagine. I guess, I don't know, I guess, was there just no extra heat in the house that they couldn't cuddle you, or?
I don't know. Good questions. I hate to do this, but I'd probably say the cuddling part or the nurturing part wasn't there, or wasn't where it was for you when you came along. Yeah. Because I'm no doctor. This is probably not fair, but I probably was premature without a doubt because of fetal alcohol syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my mom drank very heavily growing up.
Yeah.
And so nurturing. I think that wasn't there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's really hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah. I guess the only other logical question I could ask is because I was born premature. I was not placed into an oven, correct?
No, no, by no means.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
If you would have, Gregory and Christine Rhodes would have went to jail in 1999.
Yes.
We would have went to jail.
Oh gosh, that's funny.
Yeah.
So born in 1970. And you are the youngest.
I was the baby of 6 kids.
6
3
kids.
boys, 3 girls.
Okay. And what are their names? What are your siblings'
My
names?
oldest, I'll go from oldest to down to me. The oldest is Carolyn. She lives in Mississippi. The next is Dale.
Yeah.
My brother Dale. He lives in St. Louis area. Then the next one is Rita. She lives in Mississippi area. Then the next one would be Betty, the baby girl, or this youngest sister. She lives in St. Louis. And then there was Walter, my brother. He was the second brother, and he lives in California. And then there was me, the baby of 6. And my mom had me when she was 40.
40.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's another
reason. Possibility of being born premature.
Exactly. Yep. Absolutely.
Wow. I guess I didn't realize Grandma was that old when she had you.
Yeah.
And are all your siblings still living today?
Yeah. Yep. All 5 of them are still living.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess another thing to think about. So being born in 1970, that's a very, I want to say, pivotal year. I think. You think the year right before the assassination of JFK, Martin Luther King. Really, 1970 was right after we have this hustle and bustle of the civil rights movement. So growing up, do you remember, I don't know, I guess the area you lived in was, I'm assuming, predominantly black.
Yeah, it was all black.
Yeah.
The only white people we saw where I grew up is like servicemen and women, that was reading the meters or working on the streets or something. That's the only I wouldn't say interaction, but the knowledge of a different race.
Yeah.
For me.
Do you remember your family or siblings? Would they ever hang out with other white people, or would they ever talk about other white people? Was there anything like that?
No. Believe it or not, especially my mother. Again, it is what it is. But they didn't know. They didn't hang out with any white people. I never saw no white people ever came to the house, and they just didn't have any white friends that I knew of, so to speak. But when we see like a policeman or, like I said, a Laclede gas man reading the meter up next to the house or whatever, or at a store working, my sisters or mother would always say, you need to be on your best behavior when you're around them, and be mannerable. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. And that's how you need to carry yourself because they're better than us.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Almost. Okay. Wow.
But you have to understand, my mother, your grandmother, had a 6th grade education.
Yeah.
And with that, she's a very humble woman. But yeah, she had no problems, and I'm glad I didn't get indoctrinated with it. But yeah, she had no problems always putting somebody above herself. She just felt like she was the lowest in life.
Gosh.
And we were, yeah.
Wow. So growing up, did you and your siblings, well, okay, sorry. There's a lot to ask here. I guess, looking at that situation, your mom kind of placing herself constantly below someone she deemed higher, whether class-wise, race-wise, whatever. It looking back retrospectively, it does sound very sad that she didn't see herself for who she was and higher. And I mean, it's your own prerogative. I mean, raising 6 kids, assuming mostly by herself.
Oh yeah, all by herself.
All by herself. I mean, that's a challenging thing, and I wonder if the idea of, I don't know, ignorance is bliss.
Right.
Like, do you think she knew what could have been, or what?
No, I don't think so. I mean, with
little interlude for you.
with I don't think she knew that the grass was greener on the other side, so to speak. I think she believed it. I mean, because even you look at that was the 70s. So let's fast forward real quick to 1989 when I'm getting ready to graduate high school.
Yeah.
First person in my family of still 6 kids to graduate from high school. Huge achievement. And I was working at National Supermarkets in St. Louis. And I did very well there. I got promoted, moved up. But I was getting ready to graduate and tell my mom that, in the fall, I'm going to college. I'm going to Warrensburg, CMSU. I've been accepted into. And she goes, why are you going to do that? Why aren't you going to stay at National and work for that white manager who liked you so well and who promoted you? You can just stay there and stay here and work. And I mean, it's like, no, I need an education. I need a higher education. I need to better myself. And she can understand that. She was very adamant that, that I stay home and work at National. That was the road for me.
Yeah.
So, I don't think she ever got to see that the grass was greener on the other side of the road, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because my mom was big on, you made your bed, so you lie in it. Mm-hmm. I mean, if that's the mantra or the synopsis that I could sum up my mother, Lucy Rhodes, in, that was her mantra. You made your bed, so you lie in it.
Yeah.
And I get it, that generation.
Yes.
But we can make mistakes. Everybody make mistakes, make wrong choices, bad choices. And so whatever choices she made with, having 6 kids, via out of wedlock or whatever, she felt that, well, she made that bed, so she's got to lie in it. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't the case. She didn't know any better.
And so I get something else we should bring up. You and your siblings all have different dads, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah.
But funny, I mean, in 1970, I didn't know any difference. I thought Rita, Betty, Carolyn, Dale, Walter, those was my sisters. I didn't know. I never heard the word of stepsister, stepbrother, half brother, half sister. I first time I heard that was, honestly, probably well into my high school years out there in Lindbergh. But I just assumed we were all, regular blood brothers, sisters.
Yeah.
But I had never heard step brother, step sister, half brother. Those words were foreign to me.
Yeah.
Foreign.
I mean, as a kid, I think I probably hadn't really understood or what that term meant until much later.
Yeah.
And I can't. I mean, wrapping your head around it as a child would be a little, a lot. Yeah. So, do you know? You don't know your father?
I do not.
Do you know his name?
I believe his name is Claude Barters. That's the last thing that I got out of my mother. Because when I asked, I didn't ask till later on in high school when I was dealing with some issues and stuff, and I wanted to know who was my dad. And she never talked about him, and so if anything, it would unfortunately always come at a time that there was strife or problems. And my mother, it is what it is. she would make comments like, "You weren't even supposed to be born," and so
Wow.
yeah, and so that's the furthest I ever got. Called Barters is the name. That's now, ironically, or I don't know if you say ironically, my other 5 brothers and sisters, they all knew their dads.
Oh.
And they were around. I had seen
gosh.
their dads, but yeah, my dad, I never in my life seen it. He could be a world famous doctor or whatever, or he could be a bum on the street. I wouldn't know him. But my other Carolyn, Dale, Rita, Betty, Walter, they knew their fathers.
Yeah.
So.
That comment she would make about saying you weren't supposed to be born was obviously that, I mean, at the time, I would probably guess and assume is coming from a place of not hatred or
Right.
not necessarily malice, but do you think she was meaning just because you were born premature and you were almost died when you were born, or that she was maybe never supposed to get pregnant? Because this is also, I think, something to think about, that, I mean, 1970s and even pre that time, women and birth control is not something, I mean, that would probably be looked very highly upon. Also, I mean, I would assume it would probably be much more expensive, and again, modern medicine where it is today, I'm sure that it didn't have exactly what we have in terms of like the morning after pill or anything like that.
No, I think it was more of I'm premature. They wouldn't have expected me to live, and that's what I like to think. That's what I'll keep as what I like to think it was. That it wasn't because she didn't want me.
Yes. And I guess this is kind of a tangent, on a little tangent. Do you think that, I mean, again, this is another thing. So she did have 6 children.
Yeah.
And she, I mean, carried them, almost all of them, to full term.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, even, I mean, did she, how do I ask this? I mean, I guess, yeah, even back then, like the word abortion would not have even.
Yeah, I'd never heard that word.
Yeah. Like probably was not even a possibility, really. Dang. That's insane. That's crazy. So being the only one out of your 6 siblings to graduate high school, do you think, growing up and you learned like, oh, none of my siblings, my older siblings, these people I'm sort of kind of supposed to look up to, had graduated high school, did that light a fire in you to do what hadn't been done in the Rhodes household?
Oh, absolutely.
Before?
I mean, because I knew that, I either knew that early on, or I knew it when I started high school that, hey, your other 5 brothers and sisters didn't complete this. So it was not, I did not take the attitude or the standpoint that I was going to be better than anybody.
Yes, yeah.
By no means, but I was just like, I had the attitude that, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to be the first.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Because the odds were stacked against me.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, they were stacked against me in my own family. So I was.
What do you mean by that?
There was just no encouragement, no support that, hey, get this done, do this. There was no urgency on me going to school. There's a handful of times my mother went to school to get my report card, like you have teacher-parent conference. Usually my report card got sent home with me because my mom never came.
Yeah.
So there was no push or no urgency or no encouragement that, hey, you need to go to high school. You need to go to school, period, and do good and graduate. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So it just seems like I didn't get that from who I probably should have, my mom, but I didn't get it from my sisters and brothers either. I didn't get it from them telling me, "Hey, go on, little brother, you got this. Push up, go do it." So I just did it. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think? Is there a reason, in your experience or opinion, the rest of your siblings didn't graduate high school? Do you think they kind of maybe got stuck, or using, I mean, your words, kind of indoctrinated into thinking the grass wasn't always like this is the way it is, and this is just how it's going to be?
Sadly, I think so. And then there were different challenges and obstacles they had at their time when they were going to school that I had heard of. So I mean, they had their challenges. Is there one thing or 6, 7 things I can list some reason why they never graduated from high school? No, not really. It's just that it didn't happen.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. Well, my oldest sister, Carolyn, she got pregnant real early, and she got pregnant when she was like, I want to say 14, 15.
Wow.
And she just left with the guy who got her pregnant, married him, and left to Mississippi just like that, 15-year-old. So her and my mother had a restrained relationship because of that.
Yeah.
Rita, she had her son. No, because Alex is a year older than me, so that's weird. I'm his uncle, but he's older than me. So.
Oh yeah.
But Betty, she had her kids at an early age, and so yeah, I think nothing bad towards them, but I think they might have not
absolutely
realized the grass was greener on the other side either.
Yeah.
'Cause you're in this. I hate to say cesspool, but you're in this environment that not many people are getting out.
Yes.
You're seeing your neighbors, you're seeing your best friends, you're seeing your buddies. They're not graduating high school. They're not doing anything, and you say, "Well, this is my plight in life.
Yeah.
This is what I got."
Yeah.
Is that the case for all of them? I don't know. I hope it's not.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I mean, I don't think it would necessarily be incorrect maybe to use the word cesspool. I mean, it is a very tight-knit community, and I mean, in a whole other discussion we can get into in another later, I mean, that's due to just generations of oppression.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And yeah. So that's a whole thing, and it's but I think, you shouldn't be afraid. I think that not everyone gets out necessarily, because I mean, you did,
right?
And you were able to live your life, and you still are, and so I can only hope that there are others in that community who have also been able to do that. So growing up in grade school, how did your grade system work? So like for me, we had originally it was K through 3rd grade, and then 4th grade got added to East Elementary. So it was K through 4. So how did that kind of look like for you?
It was pretty much the same.
Okay.
I went to 2 different schools because, excuse me. I went to kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade. And then when I got to 4th grade, I went to another school and went there 4th, 5th. And then I came back to the school I originally was at, and it was now 6, 7, and 8.
Oh, did they have the kindergarten still?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
But they didn't have the 4th and 5th?
No.
That is okay.
Yeah,
very interesting. Yeah. when you think about your time in grade school, if any memories pop up, did you have, would you say, a good time? Did you enjoy your classes, your classmates, your teachers?
I liked my I guess friends that I had, but grade school was not a fun time for me because and this sounds horrible, and I'm not trying to make it out of oh woe is me. Everything is about Greg Rhodes, and
I mean, it's our show, so it kind of is.
Well, no, I don't want people to think
no,
that.
no. People want to hear your side.
I went to the same school that my siblings went to.
Yeah.
And let's just say that they did not have the same focus and outlook on education and school. So they had those teachers had them, and those teachers had issues or problems with them. So then when this little knuckleheaded Gregory Rhodes comes around, this 6th Rhodes kid,
yeah,
it was like, you're going to turn out to be like the rest of them. You're not going to amount to anything. And I mean, I actually had a teacher say that to me in 7th grade, Miss Robinson. It hurt it. I left school.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so they for whatever reason, they did what they did, and I had to pay for it.
Yeah.
It was nothing. I could be the most mannerable, or the most nicest, the most docile kid, which I was. Yeah. I'm not bragging on myself. I was, just because of my environment. I was very docile and people pleasing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But these teachers, man, they I'm gonna say they had it out for me, but they did not encourage me or say things like, "Hey, you're gonna do okay. You're gonna be okay." Now, was that all through those grades, kindergarten through 8th grade? No, absolutely no. But the pivotal times and points in my life, unfortunately, you recall the negativeness. And so when I think back on grade school, I think of the negatives. I think of the times, like I said, when the Mrs. Robinsons were like, "You're not going to amount to anything. You're going to be just like your brothers or just like your siblings. You're not going to amount to anything. You're a lost cause."
Yeah.
So
oh God, that is so hard to hear, and honestly breaks my heart, because I mean, when I think of some of the greatest teachers I've ever had, they have been adults and people who do not want to give up on any student or any child or any kid. And I mean, I'm glad that you said it wasn't all of those grades you were in.
Right.
But I can't even imagine to think how, as a kid, that already, I mean, you're young and impressionable. That's already shaping how you think, how you view the world.
Like I said, the last one I remember was 7th grade, Miss Robinson. I was talking in class, and she was trying to instruct a lesson or whatever, and I was being a distraction. And not like I was doing anything bad, but I was talking to a classmate or son. So it wasn't unprovoked in a sense. It could have been said something else, just be quiet or go to the principal.
Yeah.
But she just goes, "Gregory Rhodes, you need to be quiet and shut your mouth. You're just going to be like your other siblings. You're not going to amount to anything." And of course, the class laughed, and I just left. But that was the pivotal time, because from then on, Mrs. Robinson, 7th grade, no matter what, personal or school, I had then made the decision that I was going to prove everybody wrong. I was going to prove everybody wrong. I'm going to get out of this place. I'm going to do something. So so it was okay. I didn't feel sorry for myself. I wasn't angry at Miss Robinson for saying that.
I don't understand how you couldn't be. I'm proud of you.
Well, thanks. Again, it's just a lot of stuff was building up into this to come.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I made the decision that no matter what, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to graduate from this school from 8th grade. I'm going to go on to high school. I'm going to graduate from high school. I'm going to go on to college. And so I'm going to prove you wrong.
You're going to have a family.
Yeah.
You're going to have 3 incredible kids.
Yep. So,
but
yeah. So,
wow.
It's I'm not. I didn't stew on that. I didn't. I really didn't. I didn't stew on that. I stewed more on the friendships that I thought I had that I didn't have because people looked at me as just another Rhodes kid. So,
what do you mean by that? You mean other kids in the class?
Yeah.
You thought you were friends, but
they weren't really friends.
Oh,
so I stewed on that because that's your impressionable years, like you said. So that mattered to me more than what the teacher said. Those friends laughing at me, when those teachers would say things like that, or somebody would say something.
I mean, that is really sad. And I'm sorry to hear about that.
It's all good.
Also, 7th grade, God. It's already a shitty year. Yeah. Being a 7th grader no one wants to do that. Right. No one wants to willingly be in 7th grade. It's kind of just a time we all go through. We all have to do it. We didn't sign up for it. God. I would probably imagine Miss Robinson is probably not still with us. But if you could talk to her right now and say something, what do you think you would say?
I would say, Miss Robinson, you were wrong. You were wrong. No matter what I was doing or saying, disturbing your class or being disruptive, you could have easily pulled me up in front of class and gave me 3 paddles because we had corporal punishment in school.
Oh my gosh!
You could have sent me to the principal's office. You could have made me stay after school and write, "I will not talk" while the teacher is talking 100 times on the board. But you were wrong to say you're not going to amount to anything. You're just going to turn out like your other siblings. That you shouldn't have said that to me.
Yeah.
Or you shouldn't say that to any kid. So that's what I would say. But I'm not angry at her. Like I said, I'm not. Yeah. I'm not mad because I hadn't stewed over it. I mean. I remember it. I'm telling you here.
Yes.
But it's nothing I stewed over. I stew over stuff a lot lighter than that, I think.
Yeah.
I never stewed over that. And like I said, she wasn't the first teacher. She wasn't the last to say something like that. But what hurt too is like at that time, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, you want to stay with your buddies. And you knew of teachers in the grades before that ahead of you that you were coming. So when we were in 6th grade, you knew the 7th grade teachers and you knew who room you wanted to be in.
Yes.
Man, they were the teacher. They were the teacher to be in their room. And that didn't happen because when the way they did it, they didn't do it like they do now, however they do it for you guys. But you got picked the first day of school of what grades you was going. It was like an eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And I never forget standing out there on the playground and not getting picked by the teacher I wanted to because she had one of my siblings and didn't want me.
Do you remember who she was?
Yeah, that was Miss Wise.
Miss Wise.
Yeah, she was awesome.
So the first day of school, everyone comes up and the teachers essentially just kickball pick you.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Like you guys.
What? Oh my gosh. Sorry, go ahead.
It's 1970, 1980, man. And you know they are not picking you because it's not because what you wore today or how you look. It was strictly because they did it to other kids. I wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
There were luckily there were other goofballs who had siblings who came up the ranks and was little minuscules or your little minions. But you knew they didn't pick you because they didn't want to deal with it. And I'll never forget, I wanted to be in Miss Wise's room because my best friend, Donnell Walters, was in that room. Not just him, it was probably 6, 7, 8, 9 of my good friends was in that classroom, and I wanted to be.
Was this in 8th grade?
This was in 7th grade.
Oh, this was the 7th.
Yeah,
okay.
And I got picked by Mrs. Robinson. And then 8th grade, I wanted to be in Miss Kincaid. Miss Kincaid was the bomb, man.
Yeah.
She was awesome. Didn't get picked. My nephew had her. My sister had her, and I mean, you'd be walking in the halls, and the teachers would see you. It'd be a recess time or something, and they'd ask, "Hey, Gregory, how's your sister Carolyn doing? How's your sister Rita doing? Betty?" You know, they'd ask. I mean, I don't know if it was a sincere ask, but yeah. So they'd ask, and so it make you knew why you didn't get paid.
Yeah, I think one of the hardest things, just like sitting here and listening to that, is just the idea that, I don't know. Again, I mean, maybe it definitely is. I think mindsets of how to teach children and what to say to children and what's okay to say to children has definitely changed and shifted as the times have gone on. But I think one of the hardest things about hearing that is just there wasn't one. Well, I say that there wasn't. It just sounds like from this there wasn't, like, Miss Robinson, Miss Wise, Miss Kincaid weren't able to look past all of your siblings and all the trouble they had maybe caused or gotten into or disruptions they had maybe been, and just been able to see you as you.
Right.
And I mean, from what we've talked about before and just knowing you were a very, similarly, I was a very kind of go get 'em and people please person. Not that that's always a bad thing.
Right.
It's good to want to help people and be a good person.
Yep.
But yeah, and I cannot imagine teachers just picking kids. That just sounds insane to me. Rather than just random assignment. I mean, that's how grade school was, at least. I mean, I'm sure maybe like here or there, teachers could like say, maybe not these two siblings if you had siblings together. I don't know. God, that's insane to me. That is wild. So you mentioned one of your really good friends. You said Dynell.
Dynell. Yeah.
Are you still friends with them today?
We don't keep in touch. He's a police officer up in St. Louis, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's an officer. Just made sergeant last year or a year or two ago. But anyway, he's doing good. And some of my other friends who were in that class, they're doing okay.
Yeah.
From what I've heard or seen online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think, or so you're still friends with some of them? There's a story we've talked about before, I know, of a specific teacher, I believe, keeping a bottle of vodka.
Yeah, that was my 8th grade teacher, Mr. Woodson, in his desk drawer. Yeah.
Okay, so he would keep a bottle of vodka in his desk.
Yep.
And all the kids just knew about it because he would just drink it during the day.
Well, we never saw him,
Yes.
but you could smell it on him. And being in a household where everybody drank,
Yeah.
and being in my household, you knew the smell of alcohol.
Yeah.
And there was one kid who was he's
A class clown, if you will.
I guess you could call him a class clown. He was a little more than that. Excuse me, but he went up to the desk one time. Mr. Woodson had stepped out, and he went up to the desk and opened his bottom drawer on his desk and pulled out the vodka and was showing the class, and everybody's like, "Oh man, you're gonna get in trouble when you put it in there." He unscrewed it and took a swig.
Oh my God!
Yeah, Horse.
A horse?
That was his name.
His name was Horse.
Horse, yeah.
Like that was a nickname, or
That was his nickname, Horse.
I love that. Do you know how he got that nickname?
I can. What's the word? I can imagine how, but I'm not gonna say. Yeah.
What? Hold on. No.
That was his name. That's what you called him, Horse.
Okay.
His real name was Charles something. Charles.
Okay.
But yeah, he went by Horse. He was a big guy.
Okay.
Big guy.
That's very interesting. So I'm guessing he didn't get caught.
No, he did not get caught.
Wow.
But yeah.
Well, I'm glad the class was also not full of snitches, I guess.
No.
So kind of talking about, the Rhodes, and your siblings, I guess, I don't know if you want to call it legacy at some of these schools. the neighborhood you grew up in, I'm assuming people also knew about the Rhodes there as well.
Yeah.
Would you say that the Rhodes household was kind of infamous around where you were?
Yeah, unfortunately, and not a good kind of infamous either.
I mean, yes, infamous.
Not a good kind. It was infamous for the first of the month, anywhere between the first of the month and the 5th of the month. The cops was going to be there breaking up fights, taking people to jail, trying to get order. It's also you're going to have mom and daughters cussing and fighting and fussing out on the front porch in the house. You're going to have babies, daddies, or mama's babies, daddies, whatever, coming over because it's Mother's Day. That's what we call Mother's Day, was the 1st through the 3rd, because that's when the single mothers would get their welfare checks.
Of every month.
Yeah, every month.
Oh, wow.
And then that's when the boyfriend would come around, the daddy's baby would come around looking for a handout. So,
Just like some of the check or money?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when they cashed their check, he was looking.
Wow.
Yeah, he was looking for his part, I guess.
Yeah.
But the other
and this would
20
also
days.
This would all happen like in your house? Like you watched this?
Yeah. Now this didn't just happen in the Rhodes house. It happened at other houses,
yes.
But it was more predominant, more evasive at the Rhodes house. But yeah, not everybody. By far, not everybody on our block was like that.
Yeah.
We were maybe a handful of maybe 4 or 5 families were like that was on welfare. The others worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were infamous.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I guess just being a kid and witnessing a lot of that, what was that kind of like for you? Because I can't imagine like it's. I mean, and in a kid brain, it sounds like you got used to almost a routine of this happening.
Right.
I mean, because they would always get the checks, and then their baby daddies would always come, and then police would come. Yep. So would you say witness a lot of unnecessary force from police officers when seeing these altercations or anything?
No, I didn't know at that time. I didn't know what was considered accessible force or not.
Yeah.
I was just glad they actually got their asses and sent them on, either went to jail or said you got to leave the premises.
Yeah.
I was happy for that. But like I said, that happened every month, like clockwork, every month. As long as I can remember, till I left there in 1989, the fall of 1989 to go to college. I remember it happening like that every first of the month.
Wow.
Every month. Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That's just insane. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Kind of wrapping up here. When you think back on your childhood and kind of contrasting that with my childhood, McKenna's childhood, Aiden's childhood, what are you glad to see happened in our paths and not what were you glad? What were you glad to provide for your kids?
I'm glad that now some of your listeners will maybe disagree, but I'm glad that I did not bring you guys up in that environment. Mm-hmm. When I left for school in '89, I left St. Louis and I didn't look back.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to look back. Then when I got married, met your mom and got married and started having kids, it was never an issue where we was going to spend the holiday or where we was going to spend vacation at. It wasn't going to be with my family because they were still in that destructive, chaotic mindset and disposition. So we went to West Virginia, and that's where you kids grew up in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he means in terms of my mom's side of the family. Just yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. It was good. I'm glad you guys. I didn't want you guys to not necessarily see that, but I didn't want my kids brought up in that because I didn't have a choice while I was there. Now I'm the adult, the dad, the husband. I can say where and when my kids go someplace and what they're going to see and how they're going to be treated.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't going to take the chance on you guys seeing, hearing, or being mistreated by my family.
Yeah.
Especially because since you guys were mixed race.
Oh, was there some pushback from that originally? If not outright set.
What? Well, I don't know about pushback, but it was more. Again, my mom was ecstatic, believe it or not, but everybody else was like, "Oh, okay, we knew this was going to happen," especially when you went to Lindbergh.
The Lindbergh was the high school.
High school, yeah, DSEG.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to a county school where it was less than 1% black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really, until high school, you didn't like interact with a lot of other white people.
Oh, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd never interacted.
So were all your teachers up until then black as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. We'll make a rule to turn off our cell phones when we record. What's something you're thankful for this week?
I am thankful. I just realized this. I was talking to your mom about 2 days ago. I am, by the time this summer is over, I will have done something with each of you guys one-on-one, a project or whatever. Like I'm doing this podcast with you.
Oh, cool.
I'm building the cornhole games.
Yes,
McKenna.
still got those for sale. Not really, almost.
And then I'm going to do OA with Aiden in July.
OA! Oh my gosh, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
Wait, he's not like in it yet, right? This will be his first.
Yeah,
okay.
we have encampment the 16, 17, 18.
Of July?
Yeah.
Okay. That'll be good. That'll be awesome.
So I'm thankful and excited about that I can say that I've done something with each of you guys. Had nothing to do with the planning. Either you guys planned this or it just happened ironically, but it's like, oh wow, that's wild that I'm doing something with each one of you guys, even individually.
What can we say? We're go-getters. Something I am thankful or appreciative of this week is I actually on Monday night played my first ever round of Dungeons and Dragons with some friends. And this is a shameless plug. I'm not promoted by D&D at all, but guys, you all need to play it. It is so much fun. It is so cool. I think it needs to be implemented into schools more because while a lot of it is based in imagination, I think people have preconceptions of what it's like and think, oh, geeky, lame, nerd, but you can make it anything you want. And it truly is like a video game, but just more interactive and with other people. Wow. Yeah. And it definitely, you're using your brain. I think we met this first session was from like 7 to 11:30.
Oh my.
Yeah. Yeah. 4.5 hours, I think. Wow. Yeah. It sounds a lot, but no, when you're with people, it's, yeah. And there were a couple breaks in there, so not 4.5 hours straight. But yes, I'm excited to keep that going this summer and hopefully a little into school year. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for making it this far and staying to talk about Greg's childhood and upbringing in St. Louis. We wish you all the best and sending you all love. And thank you for traveling with us down the roads less traveled. Bye, guys.